Chicka wow wow. What's up, party people? Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Elkivate Your Life. I am your hostess with the mostess. L is in the letter L, and key as in the key to your heart. Welcome to this Mindful Monday, August 18th. I have to tell you all, I'm so excited to introduce not only my follow up special guest, Sarah. Sarah, say hello to everyone.
Hello, excited to be back.
And I have a new special guest. Welcome, my daughter, Brooklyn, everybody.
Bow chicka wow wow. Thanks for having me on, Mama Elkie.
Thank you for joining us. Finally, it only took a year, ladies and gentlemen. Finally got two celebrities in the house.
It's worth the wait. It'll be worth the wait, hopefully.
Yes, definitely. So we are going to revisit our dating in 2025, especially because Sarah being a millennial and my daughter being Gen Z, I thought we could talk about some burning questions that all of my listeners have been sending in, aka Andrew, Roger, Dory, Travis, just to name a few. But all the men are asking, like, why is it so hard to find a good woman? Like, why can't it be simple? And why does there have to be a list of expectations? So you ladies, feel free to chime in on any of those questions.
I would say I'm pretty slow to start dating. I kind of get nervous. I did decide recently, actually, that I'm too nervous to do the dating apps. So there's this app that I downloaded. It's called Meet Up. And it's just a general social app. They will put on trivia at different bars or different places in the Bay Area. And they'll just put it out there for groups of people to go meet. And I feel like that's just a better way for me to date. Because I was really contemplating, I need to put myself out there. But I just, being a woman that does live alone and by myself, I just am not feeling that safe going out and dating random people I don't know from an app. I'd rather just do it in a group setting and then decipher from there. So
I have to tell you, Meetup is the one that I was trying to remember because we touched on this last time. We were going down the list of all the dating apps, and I'm like, there's another one Sarah mentioned, and I could not remember to save my life. So yeah. Meetup.
It's a good friend and date app.
Yeah, I love it.
Go ahead.
Brooklyn.
So, although I have been off the market for 3 years now in a wonderful relationship with my boyfriend, Ajay, I will say to touch on the apps and safety as a woman. Have you ever heard of the app called TEA?
No.
So, this is an app created for solely women. You have to take a photo of your face and your ID to even be accepted. So men are not allowed.
Double identification. I like that.
Yes, we love this. We love a girls only space.
Yes.
And basically, you can either post a man or browse through men by location, and it will show you T on that man. So there's a bunch of other women in your area.
Like gossip.
Yes, there's a green flag that you can press or a red flag that you can press.
Oh my gosh, I am loving this.
And
I want to look it up right now.
I have a feeling your male listeners are going to be enraged right now.
This is basically a Yelp review for men in your area.
Oh,
so you can put a green flag on a man you know. You can put a red flag on a man you know. It's all anonymous.
Which I also want to say this is okay because just about every guy in college that was ever in a fraternity or anything like that had created this in a handbook of women throughout college. And so now it's
right.
The virtual, yes, it's our virtual burn book. Okay, we deserve this. Right. All the women that have been manipulated for sex or favor.
How did you find out about this recently?
I found out about this through social media. And let me tell you, it's very successful. I have seen men.
I've been stalking.
Yeah, I wish I could. Honestly, if the stock is not public, I would invest because I have seen actual men in our area that we all know very well posted on this app. And there are reviews. And when I tell you reviews, it is revealing.
Oh,
Reviews.
wow.
It-
Okay.
it
We'll
looks-
be looking this up.
Yeah, I was like, maybe we'll have some feedback this episode.
It does bring the tea. And I think on a more serious note, it's providing a safe space for women to really share their experiences on men that are just out there maybe for a hookup, or even worse, maybe a man that is not safe, that
Yeah.
has abused women verbally or physically. And so
Ooh.
I've seen those as well, where some men have 100+ red flags, and women are sharing experiences from all across the Bay Area that they've came across this man and they have this
Yeah.
experience with him.
Yeah.
So
Well, I think that's like amazing for women's
Right.
safety.
We need
Well,
all of
just
the
to feel-
tools in our toolbox.
But feel
to be safe.
comfortable to put yourself out there, but also maybe don't be on the app to like tear people up completely
Right.
if it's like
Right.
your ex,
100%.
but I do love like the safety purpose of it, because it's like, when you're thinking about going on a date, you're like, okay, maybe they'll pick me up. That's a gentleman thing to do. But then I'm like, wait, I don't want them to know where I live, so that I'm going to meet them. You know what I mean? Like there's all those little aspects. So it's nice that, it's kind of sad some of these dating apps can't combine together like that. Like have those,
Right.
like I've just comments of someone like, I went on a date with this person and they like skipped out on the bill. Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
Feedback like that.
I literally used to say prior to getting married, like, okay, ladies, you need to show up with your list of questions, which Tommy and I talked about if you've listened to the previous episodes about how this guy that he met that is happily married, that he created a list. And it was literally like not an interview list, but it was like stay or go boundary,
Things
it
that you don't
helped
sway
weed
on.
out
Mhm.
the bad. And I was like, we need to be showing up going, sorry, not sorry, but like, okay, what's your credit score, or how is your credit, and have you been to jail before? Like serious questions that
Because then it's great
you
you
don't
can do
wanna
a background check, but like you
Right.
need to know.
right.
I mean, speaking from almost personal experience, I have some friends that have been on dates that after they found out their last name have discovered that this person has a criminal background. So I think it would be so good if
It's not like you want to bring that up on the first date, but
Right.
if you're
Yeah.
seeing someone, just say like, I just want you to know like who I am today, but who I was in the past. Like
Mhm.
it does still follow me, a type of thing. Like, or,
Right.
like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And if you're not honest, then like that means you're continuing that negative.
That's
I
correct.
like to look at it as here's my resume for a relationship.
I believe you
I
have it
feel like-
printed in pink with the perfume on it too.
I just feel like today now, because there are so many crazy things happening in the world, that you have to have a guide. You have to have a list. And I have to tell you, after having Tommy on and us talking about his friend, he said he created this list specifically for him. And there were women that were like, oh, I'm not answering that. And he was like, okay, bye. I guess you're not the one. Not in those words exactly, but just
If you don't
if
take
you're
it
not
serious as
willing
me.
to answer these questions when knowing that I'm looking for my future wife, girl, bye.
Well, and everyone tells you to make a list, like when you're like get out of a relationship, or you're
Right.
trying to put yourself out there. Even just like if you're not in a relationship, a list in life of what you want. So it's like written down. You think about it. You know what you want. But I feel like you should definitely just, if you're looking for like marriage right away, you have to just lay that out. You know
Right.
what I mean? Like when you go on your first date, like I want to get married, I want to have kids. Like I'm not like you just have fun.
Yes.
Laid down the law.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that saying where people are hesitant to state their intentions early on because they're afraid it's going to scare people off. I say scare them off.
Right.
You want to scare off the people that
Yes.
are not intentional, right?
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. You're
I would
weeding out the
rather-
bad
Right.
and you're making room for the good.
Yeah, I would rather just have one coffee date and realize, okay, you're not looking for the same thing as me, than get 5, 6 dates in 2 months, invested, and then realize
Right.
they're not serious. They don't even want actually to be married. So
Right. Right. Or I don't want kids, or I don't want to work, or whatever the
Yeah.
case
Right.
may
And I
be.
like, I mean, just because like obviously there are men sitting here right now, but I do want to say I see this statistic all the time on Instagram, especially like the news feed, but like women from like I think it's like 28 to 40, like it's the highest percentage of like single
Yeah.
with no children.
Yep.
And it's like that is kind of shocking because like it's saying also that people in their like late 30s to early 40s are having kids more because women are waiting around. It's not like we're just being like super particular and stuff, but it's like we have a standard for our personal lives that we live and we expect the
Exactly.
man to live up to that as well. And
Yeah.
sometimes men do mature really late. So a lot of women are finding themselves getting married at 35, having their first kids. And it's like also it's like we're still waiting for men. Like we're still waiting for you guys to
Right.
get there.
Yeah.
But we're also not making like crazy decisions at a young age nowadays. We're just like focusing on our careers until that love meets our standards.
It's so true. I have to tell you, so we watch reality shows sometimes on occasion. We are guilty of that. And literally on one of the reality shows I watch, my girl busted out her list at the bar because she was like, awkward silence. Like she was out with this guy that she was physically attracted to. Is it not Love Island? I can't even remember what it's called, but
Perfect
it was
match.
like one of those things where they went on another dating show and it didn't work out. So now they're on this one. And there was such an awkward silence that she
Yeah.
pulled out the list and was like, so anyway, and he was like, why do you have a list? And I'm like,
Oh,
good on her. Like he was trying to shame her, kind of like, why do you have a list? And she was like, we're not talking and we're not connecting. So let's cut to the chase and see if we're even compatible. Because why do you want to keep wasting your time with somebody that's like, I never want to get married. I never want to get kids, have kids. I will only live here. Like there's so many things you have to consider,
And we're
right?
gonna act like guys don't have like a mental list.
Yeah.
Like what?
I was going to mention that too. Also, you know, bless the women that you're mentioning with your friend that weren't able to answer those questions. I think it's good to take into account that on the first date, maybe you're a bit nervous, and I've been there as well. I think all of us can, agree that sometimes the first date is you don't show up your best. So answering or asking still, if you are the person that is going to be inquisitive, asking intro questions. I know I read a book by Jay Shetty and he gave questions about love that are entry level that you can ask on the first date that also reveal like underlying morals and values that this person may have without asking,
They're
hey,
like softer.
yeah, what trauma have you been through? Because that can be a very deep question on
Well,
the first date.
Yes. Okay. And love Jay Shetty. Thanks for
Yes,
bringing
shouts
him up.
out.
Yes.
For bringing him up. The list, just so we're clear, it's not a first date list. It's like
Okay.
we're dating. I like you. I think you like me.
Because I'm picturing
So,
her sitting
can
after the
we-
first drink with
Yeah.
me.
No.
Like, let's
Sorry,
watch.
I should have clarified
Yeah.
that. It was like he met. He had gone on dates with these people, and he's like, okay, I feel like we like each other. Let's see. And it was after the several dates that the questions.
But those, yeah, let's be like realistic. Because if the list goes well with somebody, that's where you're like, I'm gonna be with this person. Like I'm gonna work. Like we have the same thing. And like whether or not somebody brings out a physical list or a mental list,
Mhm.
like that's where people end up getting married and realizing that their relationship is far more like compatible than what they thought before, or it's not. So it's not like this list is like the Bible
Right.
being brought out. Like, what have you done? But it's
Right.
more of like, you get serious because your feelings are involved and you don't want to get hurt. So then you're like, I'm at my 3-month break right now. Are we gonna, do
Right.
this? Or not?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I will say the gentleman that created this list and Tommy that wants to use it, he goes, I was looking for my wife. And he goes, the way I found her was after going on a million dates and, thinking, okay, like top three, let's just say for the sake of argument. So, top three, he's like, so, and what he does is he gives them the list so that they can ask him as well, right? So, it's not just like, okay, no, you got an
Yeah,
F
an
on that one.
interview.
It
I
was
would
like,
hope it's a two-way
yes,
conversation.
it's a two-way conversation.
Right.
Absolutely. And so some of the girls were like, oh no, I'm not
Yeah.
answering that. And he's like, Thank you. Next.
Yeah.
Like,
Okay, I
literally.
realize what I'm picturing right now. That was Love on the Spectrum when that season 2, or when they
Oh
go
my
on the
gosh.
dates and it's like the speed dating. He's like, I don't like it. And the girl's like sitting there in silence.
The honest.
Yeah, I know, the honest truth. But it's like,
Mhm.
you know, you want somebody that has so much of your interests and likes. And that is like, I think the most vulnerable part of dating is probably bringing up that list, or, you know what I mean? Just
Yes.
checking with people if we're compatible beyond these levels. Cause I like hanging out with you and me, like your charisma, our conversations, but like, you know, are like, what if you're religious? Where does that navigate your relationship? If you want to have kids, if you want to get married,
Yeah.
like finances, you know,
Yeah.
all of that, because
Mhm.
that's like becoming more vulnerable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also don't want to discourage any male listeners that's thinking that we are just on a podium, you know, reviewing or interviewing all these people. I think that all of us also hold the grace in our hearts to know that we are not perfect humans as well. And there may be things on your list that I don't cross off. And I think
Mhm.
there is room for compromise and grace overall. But I think aligning values and morals and goals in life is just huge.
100%. Well, you and I have read some books about the questions that, yes, I don't want the men, I don't want you to think this is a
You guys-
men bashing
You guys have a
session.
list too.
We
have
but
different
even
ones.
when I was dating, after being in a relationship, unsuccessful relationships, I just started writing things down like, okay, this person isn't open to reading the love language book. Okay, that might be kind of a yellow flag because I want somebody to,
Open-minded.
yeah,
It's
somebody to be open minded, at least to want to know what your love languages are. Like, what if we're total opposite? How is that going to work? Yeah, so I started writing down just specific things for me, like, but you brought up a lot of good points, Sarah, about religion. Well, even what I said about moving, like, what if you want to relocate? What if you are a traveler and you're with somebody
Yeah.
that doesn't want to travel?
That's the thing that I've been actually dealing with in my relationship now, is that sometimes your emotional needs are met with this person, but maybe logically, like there is a logical side to life, like location and even financial goals or all of those
Yeah,
things.
and things that like people will not like settle on or break on.
Right.
You know what I mean? Where it's like, you know, I know of a couple like recently that broke up because there was a large age difference, but like the girl decided she really did want kids, like after she had been with an older man. And, you know, and they had a very like clean mutual breakup because he was like, I'm not doing that. Like, I'm not swaying that way. And they had been together and they had a great relationship. But when she realized that, he was okay with that. You know what I mean? And it's different things like that that maybe you do date for a little bit and then you realize like, oh, some of these things that I thought I didn't want, I do now want.
Right.
You know? And it goes like, so it's like, and like, that's why it's like a little bit, sometimes the list, like, I would say like, you know, top 3 or 4 of the list is like, do you want to get married? Do you want to have kids?
Right.
Like, what are your like religious political beliefs? Because obviously you need to align on that. And then like that, like major matters. But like if, you know, you grow together and realize you don't want the same things, it's also okay to be like, you know what, I actually don't want kids anymore. Like, you know what I mean? Or something like that.
Girl, preach.
Because like,
yeah.
The list can't be too long because I mean, sometimes people like to disagree and that works for people's relationships too.
Yeah. Well, I was in a relationship for 6 years and we hung in there the whole time. I kept hearing, I want to have kids. And I was like, sorry, that door closed. You can have access to my kids. And it was like, no, 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 I want to have a baby. And I'm
She's
like,
optioning me
like 500 done this.
you know what? Let's rename it. Let's not call it a list. Let's call it a guide. It is a guide.
Yeah.
You know what? And I think that is beautiful because in society, there are like, ever since, you know, I grew up, you as my sole caretaker with a single mom. And I think a lot of women are not taught to think of what we want, but just how we can fit in the world, how we can be successful in the world, how we can
Girl,
find a man that's going to get us the result that we want, or So I think
How
it's
motherly are
actually
we?
really beautiful that we can sit here and think of what our wants are. And I think that's why it is such a larger conversation, because we have learned from such a small age to be small and just be lovable and be motherly and nurturing and supportive, and not what do we want from out of this. And I think that is really beautiful, and calling it a guide is
Better. Yeah, I think
it's more accurate.
it takes away a little bit, I think, even to like the male listeners. It
Well,
takes
that's
away
what
the
I was
negative
thinking.
connotation where, because they have a guide too. You know what I mean? Like a guy always knows like what they're attracted to, right? And a guy always knows like, even if they don't feel as confident in the world, they would like a woman to maybe help bring that out of them, or like, you know, be their partner and making them feel confident and stuff like that. Because obviously men are putting themselves out there too, dating. And like, I do want to bring up, because like my friends and I joke about it a lot, but I mean, women definitely look at men for money, like these days. Like, and it's not just being like provided for, but I feel like the millennial generation with like, you know, starting a lot of sugar baby stuff like in my generation, like OnlyFans developed in my generation, all of that. Like, I definitely think that women don't take men as serious, um, like mentally or emotionally. They really just kind of do look at like, oh, throw page for me.
Transactionally.
Like, yeah, transactionally, perfect word. Yeah. So I feel like there's kind of always like, I don't know, just negative views around like, you know, dating a man that's emotionally available or like maybe vulnerable or putting themselves out there. Cause I'm like, I'm 30, I'm single, and I'm like, I'm just waiting for a rich man, but really I'm just waiting for the love of my life. Like, I joke that I'm waiting for a rich man. It'd be a benefit. But then I think to myself, I am a rich man. You know what I mean? But that also sometimes is like a bad mentality, because then you're like, I am the man of the woman. If you view
it's good that you're thinking about that. And
I mean, I'd love to be taken care of. We all would, but I'd love emotional over financial, because like I could never be fake to somebody emotionally.
Yeah.
If they were like there for me. And I also think it would make me so uncomfortable, like if that was that. Cause like, I don't know. I feel like like when I'm in marriage or relationships, it's a partnership on every single aspect.
It is. And that is how I was raised, like 50-50. And there are going to be times in your relationship where, okay, you might have to pick up the slack
And they're making more.
60, whatever. But I don't think there's anything wrong with saying, I want a man that is financially secure, because I'm going to go back to my generation, which is, what does it say in the Bible? Sorry, I'm going to get on my Christian high horse for a moment, but protect, provide, and procreate. Well, I ain't procreating anymore. So I hope you can protect me and provide for me. It doesn't mean we can't do it for ourselves, but
oh no, the want needs to be there. Like if they don't have the job, like that's out the door.
Right.
Like
right.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it would be beneficial, but I do feel like a lot of women are shallow ish now if don't. And then like that's why it's like I'd see we have seen like a increase in age gap dating, because women are looking for that. But it's also that like older men don't care to spoil like a younger woman. Like they don't care about the looks. They don't care about, like, they've experienced so much of life already and been married and like unhappy that they're like, who cares if this like older 20-year-old or, you know, young 30-year-old is making my life a little easier. Like, what is it? Bill Belichick from the football.
Right.
Yeah. The football team. He's like dating that girl, but you know, honestly, who cares?
Right. Well, I want to ask your
running
opinion, Brooklyn, because you are Gen Z. And I know for you, the way I raised you and the way I tell you is like, okay, we go somewhere. You don't automatically take out your wallet and say, I can pay, even though you can. What is your generation think? Like, how do they respond to those kind of scenarios?
You know, I can't speak for the masses, but I can speak for myself and think, and my point of view is that you should be strategic with who you choose to do life with. I think that it's the biggest decision that you can make in life, more than your career or what car you pick or where you live. I think that this is going to be basically the COO of your life, right? The person that you spend the most time with, the person that you live with on a day-to-day that's going to affect you the most. So I think being strategic with choosing that person is so important. I think that overall finances, it can be a very nuanced conversation because even my boyfriend, he's an entrepreneur, but he is also in the building phase. And I think for a lot of women, maybe they can experience if they want to date younger. You can't expect a man that is 24 to have their whole entire life together. But I think having a man that is driven, hardworking, motivated to achieve more, and also shows that they act on that. They're not just talking about what they want to do all day.
Right.
They're showing you every day with their actions that they are working towards a better life for you and your family and your future. I think that's 100% what all women need to be looking for, because you don't want to be, I now living in an environment where I see a baby growing up from infant years, how much time and effort that takes. And from you as well, the time is something that you can never get back. Right. Yeah. And so having to work as a woman that has a child or is trying to provide for a family, now we're being asked to do both. Now birth my child, now cook the food and go to work and provide 50-50 for the rent. I say, I don't think that that's fair or how we can live an optimal life together coexisting. And I think that there is times where you lean into the male strengths. I think that they go through less hormonally. They can work longer hours. So overall, I think being strategic with your dating is a smart thing to do. And I don't think that women should be ashamed of that.
Yeah. I feel like that's like the key, like probably theme here is being strategic with your dating on both ends.
Right.
And not to say that there's men out there that just want to have intimate relations, and there is also women out there that want the same thing. So being honest, like we were saying, be honest about your expectations early on is so key, because you can find someone out there. There's billions of people on this planet. There's someone out there that will meet that expectations perfectly.
And also, like, I think a big thing to it is like, feel like you're deserving of everything that you want too. Like, you know what I mean? Because like that gives you the confidence to get there, to even draw up that list and think about what you want. Like feel confident enough as man or woman to know that you deserve that. Because if you desire it, you truly want it in your heart and don't settle like for anything less. Because like, I mean, a lot of the reasons like my relationships haven't worked out is because I'm like, I know I'm deserving of more, but have I ever laid down the law of showing that?
Right.
No.
Right.
So then I continue to get like this circus coming my way. But it's also, that's why I've been like single for so long. Cause I'm like, I've had trouble laying down that law. Cause even though I know I deserve better, I've had a hard time having the confidence to speak it in my mind. And like, I guess that's somewhat of believing it sometimes. Like, it's not like I believe I deserve to be bad, but then like you put yourself in situations, but it's making sure that you feel confident enough to like stand up.
Right.
And say that too.
So I challenge every man and woman out here to write a list. I did this of everything you do, how you show up for people you love. That could be family, mother, friend, dog, all the things that you do on a day by day basis to show up for the people you love. Write all those things down so you can really realize what it feels like to be loved by you, because that is so valuable.
Oh my gosh, get out of my head. Because I was literally thinking that as she was saying all those things, I was saying that's where it's helpful to have a guide. And literally before Mr. and I agreed to date, I put my cards on the table. I didn't literally, but it was literally us sitting across, and I was like, so seems like you want to pursue me. Let me tell you who I am and what I hope to gain from a relationship. I didn't say it like that, but it was kind of like, I don't want to say what I'm looking for, because I wasn't looking for it, but I was just like, let me tell you who I am and what I bring to the table. And I was literally like, I cook, I clean, I'm loyal, I have maternal, and I'm nurturing, and da 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 da. And then it was his turn to say, okay, what I heard was blah, blah, blah. those were the days. But anyway, he mirror matched it and then said, okay, so you want somebody to protect, provide, da, 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 and if you can pay for your own nails, but if I get your nails done, that would be a bonus. And I was like, yeah, like we literally went
To the specifics.
we went
Yeah.
above and beyond. Thank you, Unique, because Unique was like, oh, I told him, I want somebody who's going to get me my coffee, get my nail. I was like, oh, girl. And she was like, no shame. Like, he wants to be my husband. I'm going to give him the guide.
And we all have our things like that. I think
Right.
there's men where maybe my partner likes a little massage, or he
Right.
likes a meal made a certain way, or so I think we all have our things. We don't need to be ashamed of our wants and desires.
Yeah.
Right?
No, not at all. I don't ever think. I mean, we're all like quirky and have our little things, but you have to have those standards. I think that was a good ending of sharing you and Mister. Because
Yeah.
I mean, you know,
Yeah. When
lead
he
you down
forgets, I remind him of that day. Do you remember when I broke out my list and we had a guide?
I do have a book to recommend to everyone. It's a book that I read with my partner it asks 100 questions prior to marriage.
Oh.
And I think it's all the things that we don't think about on the day to day when we're dating that maybe don't come across. Like if you don't experience loss with your partner, you don't know how they navigate that. You maybe don't have tougher financial conversations. So I think it is very valuable. It's called 101 Questions to Ask Before You Get Engaged by H. Norman Wright. I recommend to everyone that is seriously dating to, have a little date night with your partner and go through those.
Thank you for that, because I remember you sharing that, and I wanted you to bring up that book. I was going to ask you to mention it because, yeah, my girl had me read it in the car and was like, "Did you ask those questions?" I'm like, maybe the top 5 or 10, not this whole book, but it was very insightful, and it made me think about things that I wish I would have thought of and we would have talked about. I don't want to dive too much deeper because I want to make sure I give a shout out to Dr. Ryan Swen, my amazing chiropractor. I've told you guys about him before. Pinnacle Wellness Center. He's located in Pleasanton, and I've talked to you guys about the HBOT, which is basically you go into a oxygen chamber and it heals you everything from injuries to inflammation to well, I'm using it for my autoimmune, but
I have a family friend that also purchased one of these chambers to go into her house because her family member was he was diagnosed with cancer. And so it can be beneficial for many different diagnoses, even prior to, it can also be preventative care.
Exactly.
So
yeah, it helps with anti-aging. The more that I dive into it, I'm like,
the better.
Where was this thing?
Yeah.
So shout out to Dr. Ryan Swen, Pinnacle Wellness Center, 5994 West Las Positas Boulevard, Suite 207. He's on all the platforms, everybody. You can find him and look up his approach. And I love that it's a more advanced and not just a holistic approach, but it's kind of an alternative approach that he talks about nutrition and isn't just adjusting your bones, but gets into more depth about healing nerves or how the muscles communicate with one another. The stuff that he was doing with me, visit 1, I literally left there like, oh my God. What did this guy do? He just waved a magic wand over me. It was amazing. So want to give a shout out to him. And of course, my other loyal subscribers, Kara of lovemyartist.etsy.com. Check out her site. She's got all kinds of cool stuff, clothing, paintings, music, you name it. She's got it. And she's always coming up with new ideas and has specials and sales. And then Angie Germer, Thrive Lavelle if you're looking to shed a few pounds or just get healthier or just need more energy. She offers a wide variety of opportunities, and they basically fill the nutritional gaps. So, super helpful. I've used the products, and they definitely helped me, gave me more energy since I can't drink coffee anymore. Who else? Lisa Roberts Corbello. Thank you for the lovely message I received from you. It explains why we haven't seen each other. Thank you for being a loyal listener. Jeff Pata, woo woo, namaste. He is going to be on the show on Wednesday, so we'll get to spin off of this.
Love that.
And we're actually going to be talking about Wisdom Wellness Wednesday, but also getting his take on the dating because he's been going back and forth to the same woman. When I
Not
talked
to
to
air
him,
his business out, but
well, we're going to talk about it. No,
I was like, I'm in the same situation.
it's actually a positive. I said, clearly there's something there because you guys keep going back to each other. And he's like, yeah, we needed to learn how to have better
And
communication.
sometimes you guys just need to come on the podcast and vent it.
Hey, there's that too. And Andrew, I hope we answered your questions. Shout out to Mike Kaufman. Thanks for being a loyal listener and subscriber. And Roger, can't wait to hear about this green thumb and what you're growing in your garden these days. And I think that covers it. Thank you, ladies, for being here. Thank you, Brooklyn. Thank you,
Third time's
Sarah.
a charm. I told you it's my third time on, so she's our charm.
Oh,
Brooke's the charm.
I love it. I feel like we could talk for hours, and honestly, this topic it's been a great discussion today. And
I
if we
agree.
ever want to revisit, you'll have to drop your comments below, drop your suggestions below, and
Yes.
maybe there's a part 2 to this. So
I love that idea. Yeah, because
Our
we
Monday
usually
night
get
dinners.
questions.
Yeah.
We usually get questions. People text in, what about this? What about that? What about the man? So I'm sure we'll have to do a follow-up.
Thank you for having us, Elkie.
Yeah, thank you for being on here, Sarah. I so appreciated hearing the different opinions and ideas and all of us talking.
of the
So,
generations, dating through the generations.
yes.
Hear it her first.
Yes. Amen. Remember to like and subscribe and share. It helps the algorithm. And we invite you to text in your questions, your ideas, your concerns. We would love to hear from you. And well, you know how we say goodbye, right?
Ciao
for now.
I know.